from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to WCS Korea, Season 2 here at the StarLeague. I'm Tasteless. With me is Artosis. How you doing, man?
I am doing as well as a human truly can do, Tasteless.
That's pretty good.
It is as if I had a child and got married on the same day, because I'm going to watch Rain and First both PVT today, Tasteless, and that's
pretty good if you're a Protoss player like you and I.
By the way, that's up there.
It is good to be back. I'm sorry I couldn't be here on Tuesday. I was really sick. I did get to watch the cast. Most of it sitting on my toilet with my phone because I had a really bad stomach flu. So yeah. I'm really glad to be back here now, all better. And again, today's game's really exciting.
They certainly are. I can't wait. I wish that I could just hit start and we could just go. Right? I'm like, let's just dispense with all the hype. Like, these are going to be two fantastic
matches. Let's get this out of the way, right? Yeah. No, for builds especially, I'm super excited because you got two very different Protoss players, but are the best of the best when it comes down to openers.
Yeah, these two are probably the best in the world at PVT, both of them.
Very different playstyles, too. Rain, I would say one of the best builds to use, when you're on the ladder against somebody who you don't know what their playstyle is, what to expect. At the same time, with other Protoss player first here, he's one of these guys that's got, I would say, a very revolutionary, deceptive way of approaching the game.
Yeah, he's really pretty insanely good. Like, if you didn't watch First play his PVTs already in this season, he demolished Fantasy in ways that are almost unthinkable. Like, he made Fantasy look like a scrub. He made him look bad at Starcraft.
Yes.
It was just like the most all-seeing. Like, if I was a Terran player watching, I'd be like, yeah, this is proof. That's no way.
Well, it's got a lot of builds that you actually really can't quite prepare for.
No, you can't do anything against it.
We haven't really seen stuff. We've seen stuff like it, but not quite in the way that that First is actually playing this.
It was the most overwhelmingly perfect. Like, whereas Rain, you look at him and you're like, well, okay, Rain, you're playing so well and so defensively, no one can break you, and then eventually you just kill them. You whittle them down over their mistakes. Whereas Rain, like, I don't think it even matters if he makes mistakes against him, because he always sees everything coming and gets aggressive as well, and just, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, the thing about Rain is I feel like he's a guy, even if you know what he's doing, you're probably still going to lose to it.
Yeah.
Here are the brackets that we have so far. Maru playing a kick-ass series against Symbol. I was very surprised by those results. I actually thought Symbol was going to win.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a 3-1 in the opposite direction. Innovation against Sulky. This guy, there's no brakes on him. Innovation. He is absolutely unstoppable.
To be honest, I think the only person that can truly take him down left in this tournament is First. I would be surprised if he loses to anyone else.
I think there is actually a high chance it'll be a First versus Innovation finals.
That could be.
We have two Terran players we haven't talked about just yet here. We got SuperNova and Bomber. Now, SuperNova, he's changed his attitude according to his interviews.
Yeah.
Now that he's in this tournament, his goal is always to get, I don't know, final 16, top 16, maybe top 8. And he said, well, now my attitude is I need to win.
Yeah.
I want to be first place. Not even a finalist, but a champion. Now, Bomber, I would say he's probably, along with Maru, SuperNova too, the most old school player.
Yeah, they're pretty old school up there. In fact, I think Maru is the oldest school StarCraft 2 player in the top 8
Which is funny to say because he's so young.
He's the youngest by far as well.
But no, Bomber, he's a household name if you've been following StarCraft 2 for any period of time, really. He's very strong. We thought he was going to be a GSL Code S champion for a long time here. But he never. It's like sometimes he plays so well, he'll even do things like, drop a bunch of his mules or nuke himself. And it's impressive because he'll still win. But then when he gets deep enough in the tournament, like a Final Four or something, he does not get that first place.
No, he does not seem to ever be able to finish out. And with how hard it's getting nowadays, it's like, well, are you ever going to be able to do that?
Well, and here's the truth is that StarCraft 2 is getting more and more popular. The pro gamers are getting better and better. The competition is getting higher. So, with every tournament that passes, it's going to be that much more difficult, even for players like Innovation or Sulky, to become a champion.
Very, very true, Tasteless. Well, we'll see. Innovation already in that round of 4, Maru already in that round of 4. We could have an all-Terran round of 4.
Well, yeah, we could have that, and that would be very Wings of Liberty-esque.
Yes.
We've had a lot of all-Terran, or at least 3 Terrans or something like that in the Final Four. So we'll see. I'm betting it will not be the case.
Who do you think between Rain and SuperNova? Because for me, that's almost a little bit hard. I'm thinking Rain, but what do you think?
My instincts tell me that it's going to be SuperNova because he's been playing so well. But
Okay.
The person, when I look at their build order and their play style, I feel like Rain. But I feel like SuperNova has a lot of momentum.
He does.
For him.
He does, yeah.
But to be fair, he's had that in a lot of tournaments as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how good his kind of aggressive, in-your-face style actually works out here against Rain, who's so good at stopping like drops and harassment, anything like that. I feel like, as far as stylistically speaking, Rain matches up very well against SuperNova. So I'm feeling it for him, man.
Here is a closer look at Rain. As you can see, WCS Korean ranking, he is number 9. For a period of time, he was pretty much concluded by everybody to be the best StarCraft 2 player. This is, I would say, right at the kind of in death of Wings of Liberty, birth of Heart of the Swarm. He is a phenomenal player.
And let's not forget, he's actually the last OSL champion. The last time there was an OSL, which is what this term is, the StarLeague, it was last March, I want to say. So it was a little over a year ago. That's a sick background
right there. That's a sick graphic right there.
But no, the last time he was the champion.
Yes.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind there. He wants to defend. 2 in a row would be pretty insane.
As you can see here, here is his player stats. Now, these are not stats we mathematically derived from his games. What we did is we polled all the esports journalists here in Korea, said, all right, you rank him on a scale of 1 to 100 in these different attributes. And we pulled them again as they advanced, if they advanced, to the round of 16, and here at the round of 8. So we can see in the eyes of our Korean esports journalists, and by the way, all they do is watch every single StarCraft game.
Yes.
So these are good people to pull here. You can see where he's risen and fallen here, and so far for these points, he's been going up.
Yeah. I like how there's not a very big cheese number for him. In fact, that's one of the lowest ratings we've seen on anyone for anything. And that makes me respect and love him even more. I think there's only
one person that was lower than that, and that was Flash.
Oh, really? Wow.
I believe that was one person lower.
Well,
and here is SuperNova.
And this guy has knocked out 3 of the best Protosses in the world in Squirtle, Parting, and Trap already. So he's definitely got a shot here going against Rain.
Yeah, SuperNova, I feel like his execution is some of the best, especially in engagements, of anything we've seen here from a lot of our Terran players. And he's also one of these guys that is very likely to pull his SCVs.
Yeah, he will pull those SCVs without any issue.
No, usually not so much when he's ahead, but when he's behind. Unlike Innovation, where oftentimes he gets a lead, and then he's like, let's end this now. And let's keep dishing out this SuperNova card on the table here with that graphic there.
Awesome.
So, our first map is going to be Belshire Beach. Or Belshire Vestige, excuse me.
Belshire Beach, what a blast from the past that would be.
That would be, that was a fun map. Remember the winter edition we had of that?
Yeah.
That was cool. We haven't done that, actually, for any of these other maps.
Yeah, no, we truly haven't. It would be kind of cool to do, though, right? Especially if they got changed a little bit. That's something I would like to see.
Even the title sets, I'm fine with it. They changed just a little bit here. So, as you can see, here are the player stats now for SuperNova. Same story. He's been on the rise. The cheese number here a lot higher, which is not a shocker.
No, not at all. And you can see he still has really good stats on basically everything. He's just he's a solid all-around player, even though he is of the aggressive nature.
Yeah, he certainly is. SuperNova, and also I want to point out, he used to be a guy who never cheesed. In fact, he cheesed so little that he was starting to lose to 6 pools because he would go command center first on the low ground, if you remember.
he was a command center first type of guy, man. But what will he bring out here against Rain? Because Rain is like pretty cut and dry most of the time. He does mix in some other things, but for the most part, he's going to get 3 gates, a robo. He's going to have enough observe. He's going to see everything coming and do his best to stop it. So being cheesy against him, I'm not sure if that's the best choice. I think he might want to get into more of that mid-game where it gets a little wishy-washy. You can do SCV pulls and things like that.
As far as early game goes, Rain reminds me a lot of Flash. He's pretty cheese-proof, pretty tight as far as the openings.
Yeah.
He's investing into the 12-minute and past marker.
Yeah.
He wants to get into the late game, mid-game to late game to late game.
Yeah.
So, again, we'll see. I wouldn't cheese against Rain, but then again, do you allow Rain to get to that point in time?
Yeah, that is the question. The one thing SuperNova could do, though, because Rain, the cool thing about Rain is he oftentimes takes the bad part of the macro builds, right? Like, if you go command center first and then a third command center really quick, normally he just goes up to observer and then the window to punish you is gone. This is not like playing against a Protoss like MC who's just randomly going to try to kill you all in off of like 24 probes every now and then. You know, it's a bit different. So SuperNova could go in the other direction of risks, which is to be super, super greedy. Grab 3 command centers really, really fast. Grab your E-base quickly. And just count on Rain to be so defensive that he gets behind in that way.
I gotta echo that, because I think absolutely maybe take a risk in the opposite direction of a cheese to do something really greedy.
I think that's the best way to play.
That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, we're getting closer and closer to crowning a champion here in this tournament. In case you're just now tuning in and you're used to watching the GSL Korea, this is a piggybacked broadcast. The players, the games themselves are being held in the on-GameNet studio. So that's why you don't see the players here in our booths. So the production here, the cameras are on Artosis and I. We have an in-game PC for Artosis to check, so we can keep up to date on anything the observer might miss. And of course, we have Legend observing. But everything else not done here by GOMTV.net.
Yeah. All right. So you guys can look. That's pretty self-explanatory, except for the 3-7, which I think is actually a 6-4 there. But yeah, this is going to be fun, man. I'm really excited to see this match and the ways that SuperNova tries to abuse Rain.
Let's be totally candid here. This is really good for us, as we both play Protoss, and this is the moment where we get to steal the builds.
Well, I really hope that Protoss is advanced today. I'd love a PVT finals. We've gotten almost none. There was Squirtle against MVP.
And what else do we even have?
MC against Rain in Season 2, which doesn't even count.
That never happened. That was not even a finals, actually.
Yeah, that was a one-sided bashing of poor Rain.
That was watching somebody be hit by a car. That's what that was.
And that was a different Rain, by the way, guys. That was a Terran Rain.
Yeah. That Rain before was the poser.
The original Rain was the poser. Yeah.
So, here's the map lineup. We have Belshire Vestige, Acheron Waste, Whirlwind, Star Station, and Newkirk Redevelopment Precinct, which just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
That's one of my... I sometimes say that to fall asleep at night. It's a pretty good lineup of maps, I would say. Sets 3 and 4 are going to be probably the harder maps for Rain overall. But it's, that's kind of good, because I like...
You're right with the Whirlwind call there. That is going to be harder.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest PVT map, I would say.
For especially against SuperNova, I think.
Yeah.
SuperNova is really good at these, maybe just the basic Terran versus Protoss engagement, arcing, picking up when he's getting force fielded, pulling out, dropping at the same time. That's where Rain's, finesse really kicks in.
Yeah.
Of course, with Belshire, I don't think either of these guys are going to cheese, but since it is a one-on-one map, I will just go ahead and point it out. Those are normally maps where statistically you're more likely to cheese on.
Yeah, and we actually just fixed that, because set 2 has to be Anaconda, so that changes things a bit, because SuperNova did get rid of Acheron. So I would actually say, now looking at it, I feel like this is maybe a slightly better map pool for SuperNova, just by the tiniest margin.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Whereas before I thought it might be just a little bit better for Rain.
Well, I think the first 2 games are really going to set the tone for this. I think if it's 1-1, it is, and I'm not even saying that because 1-1 is even, but I think it is going to be very close. But I think it's going to depend a lot on how these guys just, play these first 2 games here. Because, again, with Whirlwind, man, that's going to be a tough one for Rain here. All right, the game is now loading, so let's get ready for our first best of 5 today here at GOMTV.net. Introducing our players over here in the upper left, the OSL champion. He is
Grandmaster, SK Telecom T1 Ray.
And over here in the bottom right, we have our Terran player, old school from Wings of Liberty. He is
Master, Azubu SuperNova.
That was a sexy shot we got there. This is why GOMTV is the best, man.
It's exactly that and nothing else.
Shots like that. Shots like that, and you are just. That's it, man. So we're going to have to wait and see how they open. This should be, for these 2 players in this matchup on this map, it should be a situation with a good amount of passivity here.
Yeah.
Early on.
We'll see what SuperNova's up to. Because, we do see sometimes people open up with a Reaper, and then maybe later on they could go into a Mind Drop or something. And, SuperNova definitely that did like Hellbats. Doubt he'll use them here, though.
So, Artosis, we're going to have a little bit of downtime here before this game picks up. So, let me tell you about my little vacation. I went to visit my dad.
Yeah, how was
Went to
that? You
Jakarta.
poor guy that got sick somehow.
I got sick. I think I ate some bad food. And actually, this is a pause here, which makes it even more convenient for me to talk about this.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, and we'll let you guys know when we know, if we know, what the issue is. But I was in Jakarta in Indonesia last week, so that was really fun.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I just hung out with my dad. I mean, we just had beers and
just
hung out.
broed it up.
We broed it up. I broed it up with Dad. But no, it was fascinating. It's interesting. The traffic in Jakarta is so bad.
Is it?
It was incredible.
Is it worse than Seoul?
Oh, no, it's 1,000 times worse.
Oh, really?
Like, for instance, to get from here to, like, Gangnam Station, which you guys know is, like, I think 2 or 3 subway stops away, would have been, like, 35 minutes.
Okay. Wow.
35, 40. I mean, just
that's terrible.
Incredible.
Why would you even take a car anywhere?
I didn't. I was in a taxi, and then I actually just got out and started asking for directions on how to get to a shopping mall and got there.
I think that's a better choice. So what did you get me? You haven't given me my present yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you a present or Tosis. I did get a cool Batman T-shirt. That was what I got at the mall.
You didn't even get me a second Batman T-shirt to match
I didn't get you a Robin Hood T-shirt to wear along with my Batman T-shirt. But all right, looks like this game's going to get started up. By the way, a quick side note, since we're still not in this game and the wheels aren't quite spinning yet for us to talk about what they're going to do. You know A&W? You know, like A&W root beer? You know they had the sandwich chain? Did you know about this?
Yeah.
That's huge in Indonesia.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I had no idea. I did not. I was.
Wait, isn't that like a hot dog place? More of a hot dog place than a sandwich place?
You know, I don't know. I'm sure they have hot dogs, but I mean, I'm sure it's more of a root beer front with hot dogs and hamburgers that you can get. Okay, we've gotten confirmation to go in this game.
You know, it's always interesting, actually, if I may interrupt there, to go to other countries and see what is big there or what is different. Like in Australia, when we went there, Burger King was called Hungry Jack's because the name Burger King was already trademarked there for another burger joint.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That was really interesting.
You know what amazed me when we were in Australia is that everybody rode kangaroos. I thought that was a stereotype, but it's
it's completely true. Yeah.
It's completely true, and people should stop joking about it.
And they think they're good at boxing, but Tasteless has longer arms. Knocked 3 of them out in a row.
I actually killed that kangaroo from Tekken. I went all the way to Australia and I kicked his ass. I don't know why this game hasn't started yet.
Oh, they're about to do the countdowns.
Okay, all right. No, but that is actually an interesting fact about whenever you go anywhere else and you see occasionally even things that from your own country that they're somewhat big, but then they're huge.
Like KFC is everywhere over here.
Yeah.
I've
heard actually. Tell me if I'm wrong about this, but I've heard actually in Japan it's very popular to get KFC on Christmas.
I did not know that.
I've heard that from several people that have been to Japan, but
I don't know about.
Please feel free to fact check me for it. Let me know on Twitter if I'm wrong. It's on Call Me Tasteless. You can tweet at me if I'm wrong about this.
Where I'm from, New Year's Eve is all about Chinese food. Not even joking.
In New Hampshire?
Yeah, every single Chinese restaurant in my entire town has like hours and hours of waits on New Year's Eve.
Really?
Everyone gets Chinese food.
Really?
It's really weird, yeah. That's not like an American thing. That's just, I guess, if you didn't do that.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not being
every
trolled.
Year. Every single year.
Like, I'm going to be like, really? Like, no, Tasteless, you idiot. Why would that happen anywhere in the world? And I'm like, oh.
No, it's a true story.
So, the Cybernetic score is being made here. This is a very Rain-esque opener. It's very safe. Yeah. If you're going to steal a build, you should be taking Rains, even down to the cancellation of the Zealot.
Yeah, that's a really important part to get that Nexus up. And notice how he has it timed out so that as his probe approaches there, he sees if there's an eBay, he sees if there's an SCV near enough by, and lines it up perfect like that. Whereas we have 2 Reapers on the way for SuperNova. So it looks like he's going to start off with a little bit of aggression. Or harassment, at least.
Yeah. Now we have these double Reapers about to pop out. Mothership core well positioned here. There's not a lot of areas that the Reapers can hop up into your base. So what this really involves right now is Rain maintaining this defensive posture while SuperNova attempts to, at the bare minimum, scout what's going on. Although, to be completely frank, right now, even if he was to scout, there's not a lot he would find.
No. And in fact, he's just kind of scouting the whole map. I think, you know what? I really like the way that SuperNova is approaching this because if you told me to write down a build order and how to execute it on paper to kill SuperNova or to kill Rain, this wouldn't be it. But Rain, of course, has to be cognizant of that, and therefore might have done something like a proxy Stargate. And if he had, SuperNova finds it instantly.
Yeah. That's SuperNova being one step ahead. It turns out it wasn't necessary in this case, but
yeah, and in fact, Rain does exactly what he always does. In fact, getting the Forge reasonably quickly as well in lieu of the gates, and that makes sense because he saw the Reaper. He knows there's no big Marine tacker coming or anything like that.
So, again, now both players have to back off from each other for a little bit here. And this is not really too surprising from these guys so far. You know, very conservative play. Their strengths are really, like I said, past the 10-12 minute marker when they can actually start to engage each other. Now, we have the Reapers and the Marines coming out here. They may try to come up here to the front and see if they can't kill something like a sentry, although we don't see one here now. Yeah,
worst case scenario, they should at least be able to bait a Nexus cannon, which will help him out later on with less power on that Nexus. And there you go. It gets baited, and he'll lose a few units, but pretty much worth it to get rid of that 100 energy.
Yeah, it's really important that you are milking the mothership core for all the energy it has, because if that thing's at full energy when you're going to engage it at any point in time, you're just going to be at a deficit. Looks like he's actually going to lose that Stalker there.
Just slightly sloppy. Also, Rain throws up a cannon in his main mineral line, and that actually comes up before even any other gates, and then bam, there we go, a second cannon. That one's going to be in the natural, and look, this is how defensive he is. He doesn't even get more gateways. He'd rather get the cannons out to make 100% sure that his economy is fine and he can buy what he needs to live.
Yeah. And I like that. I really I can appreciate defensive play like this. Now the second attack is coming up here. Now note how this is timed out, so there is no Nexus cannon that can be used. Now there is a cannon that is warping in now, but he does not have to engage that cannon. In fact, looks like he's going to elect to not do that at all.
Yeah, and you know what? 9 probes killed.
Oh!
6 more. Really, really great play there by SuperNova.
He might even end up doing some more damage over here. These Stalkers might not be able to catch up. Now, there is a final cannon up here. It looks like he's going to get at least one more kill.
You know,
that'll be the end of that. But 16 workers killed. That's pretty impressive.
That was really great. And, you know, that's the funny thing. That most different aggressions that Terran does early on, those cannons in the mineral lines are going to be worth more. But the exact type of aggression that SuperNova chose, you'd rather have the 2 additional gates so that you can warp in some more units and stop the Hellions from doing all that. But really good choices here by SuperNova.
So, for the time being, SuperNova's got a little bit of a lead here. Now, one thing to note, Rain played very defensively. So defensively, he opted for static defense, these cannons up here. Now, that's great if you're getting dropped, but what that also means is he's not really allowed to move outside of his base and do a lot of damage because those cannons can't move.
No, this is something that he does take the worst end of economy builds.
He will always take a deficit early on as long as he's safe, because once he gets all his pieces, all the parts of the puzzle.
And the thing is, he should be safe, but SuperNova chose the right type of aggression. It's not like Rain has never done a build like this before. So I think it was just really smart by SuperNova the way he chose to do this. And now Rain is behind, but after losing 16 probes like that, after you get defensive cannons, that's unacceptable.
It really is. And you know, the truth is, SuperNova could do the same attack again. And, you know, do even more damage. We'll see. It looks like he wants to do a 2-pronged attack. Or is he?
Maybe
this might be, okay, just a big drop here. I was going to say, I think a double-pronged attack doesn't make any sense since there's just cannons.
Well, you know, a double drop here. There is a possibility with enough Marauders in there, and he does have 3. He might be able to get the Colossus. I don't think he's going to get it this time, but
actually, okay. Well, we'll see. Yeah. Well, we'll see. This army is a little bit spread out.
Also notice that Rain only gets 1 Forge this game. That just goes to show how careful he's being. A lot of Protosses will go ahead and just grab 2 Forges. But he likes to have a little bit more gas to be able to get the other units and upgrades that he needs for that added defense.
Yeah, if you go double Forge early on. Oh, hold that thought. We got a nice force field coming up here, but he doesn't pick up.
That was actually really well done. It's good force fields, very worthwhile.
Yeah, shaved off a little bit of that Terran army. Now, we'll see. SuperNova is generally pretty good about this, but when you're outside their base, you do want to scan over your army because there is at this level of play, basically always, no matter what, an observer over your army.
Yeah. And you know what? Also, Tasis, SuperNova's playing this just brilliantly. He's putting a bunker up into his third immediately, because when Rain plays like this, he relies a lot on... Yeah, exactly.
He'll warp in those zealots and send them right down, yeah.
Well, we do have charge still coming. Ooh, another nice set of force fields there.
That was actually a money force field right there.
Ooh, kind of a mess up here by SuperNova.
And this is one of the things about harasses like this, is that it is a little bit of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
If you don't do the damage and you lose that little squadron of units, you are behind.
You know, I've liked a lot of the things SuperNova's done this game, but I think he's actually pushing a little bit too hard in these harassments. I think he should be showing them and running away instantly, and just like trying to fake Rain out, trying to be like, hey, yeah, I'm coming, keep defending like this, and trying to push his own macro and economy lead forward.
Yeah. Well, we have now the third base for Rain on the way. It's about halfway done. SuperNova is still in the slight lead here with his third base up and running, and even about a 10 supply lead here.
Well, everything looks to be slowing down and kind of normalizing, which is exactly what Rain wants here.
One thing to notice that SuperNova needs to be careful about how many Vikings he's going to make, because we only see 2 Colossi right now.
Yeah.
And there's a Warp Prism making, so in other words, he's not making Colossi right now. Nice scan there, gets rid of that Observer. That's critical. Probably one of the most critical small things you can do in this matchup.
And you know what, Tasteless? I want to go back to what you're saying about just the 2 Colossus, because he got 2 Colossus without Thermal Lance, and that's something you never see. Normally you see 1 Colossus without Thermal Lance to try to trick them into Vikings, but Terrans are smart against that now. I think this is kind of a meta play by him, where he's actually gotten 2 Colossus to be like, no, really, I'm going Colossus, but bam, there you go, a Storm. Beautiful storms all over SuperNova's army.
Yeah, really bruising all of those units there. As another scan over here to figure out what's up ahead. Let's see if he gets a snipe off on the Templar, and he will. Well, or will he? All right, yeah. He will.
No, he'll get it.
Don't make me look bad, man. He definitely could have got that. So the Warp Prism's now coming in here. And this is going to go right into that turret. But he is not going to turn around. He needs to unload and then get that into warp mode here, and he'll do just that. And the Terran structure is actually getting in the way of these Marines actually being able to gun that down. The few Zealots do get out just in time.
And he's trying to get that tech lab that's upgrading. In fact, he will not get it, but at least he knows that it's upgrading. The fact that he targeted it shows us that he realizes that Hellbats are going to be a big part of this game going forward. And he starts another Colossus immediately after seeing that beautiful, beautiful move.
Looks like the 4th base may be interrupted here with these Zealots attacking. Let's see if he gets that SCV. If he does, that's just incredibly helpful there for the Terran. But it looks like SuperNova's got a nice enough defense. You know, Protoss Harass is not, I don't want to say quick or nimble. You know what I mean? It's not even the Warp Prism. It's not like, surprise, too late. But it is something that takes a lot to clean up.
Yeah.
Unlike even a Terran drop, where you can actually just zap that with a feedback.
Indeed. Well, right now we do have both players just grabbing all manner of upgrades. Rain now finally on that double forge. He's a little tiny bit behind on upgrades, but he's actually going to catch up, and then, well, I guess that's about as much as you can do when you're both hitting 3-3. He is making more and more Colossus, getting that Thermal Lance, expanding his gateway count, whereas SuperNova, you know, he is getting a lot of fire or Hellbats out, and that's going to help, but I feel like attacking right now, I don't know that this is going to do anything.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Artosis. Now, these are going to be a lot of really nice storms here. And that's going to force that Terran to back off. We're getting to the boiling point here as both players are almost maxed 181 to 185. Nice denial there.
Wow, that was really nice.
That was really good, actually.
Forcing the cancel on that 4th base. That's really going to slow down SuperNova's long game. And look at this. Storms absolutely everywhere, playing kind of like Parting used to.
All right, a scan here on this army. Notice SuperNova always has that instinct to kind of know where the army is. This reminds me of Flash at Starcraft 1 a little bit. Always scanning where the Protoss army was. All right, nice EMPs here. Now the Vikings are coming in now. Notice SuperNova did start up his Colossi production again, so he's actually shaving off a lot of SuperNova's army.
Yeah, he is just going to town on it. Not a ton of anti-air here to actually deal with those Vikings, but He did hit him with some storms. Looks like they will go down before killing all of them.
SuperNova cleaned up here.
Yeah.
And don't forget, SuperNova's fourth base was denied. It was being made at the third, so he could lift it off and move it, but he completely shut that down. And Rain now is taking his fourth with ease.
Yeah, this is, you have to give Rain the pretty big lead here. And in fact, he's going to start adding on a bunch of Archons. He just needs hit points in his army right now. It's very Colossus based. And I'm loving this from Rain, man. He's in a great spot. Even going to have his fourth base up before SuperNova.
Yeah, it's definitely a good position here for Rain right now. I'm really asking myself now, what exactly could SuperNova do? Because with that big army loss, I feel like the only way he can win is with a nice engagement. Let's see if that occurs up here. SuperNova is one of these guys that controls his army so well.
Well, maybe he can get something to happen here. It's going to rely on a lot of good EMPs. How many Vikings does he really have? 4? He has 2 more on the way. And that's against 3 Colossus with really strong upgrades. So this is going to be really hard to break, especially when you're 20 supply down.
All right, and oh my God, we only just caught that at this moment the SCVs have been pulled, which means this game should not go on for much longer here. SuperNova is saying he has to do the damage and do it now. Rain realizing the situation is on the run to enter into as defensive a position as he possibly can.
That's right, the SCV is actually stuck behind for the time being. All the front row is Marines and Marauders. He does start to pull some of it back. The SCVs filter forward, but is it actually going to be enough?
Looks like, well, I mean, it's not enough now, but I think it might be by the time he gets back to this base. We'll see. The Zealot's now coming up here in the front. He's trying to snipe these Colossi over here in the back. This just might actually be enough.
Wow, you were talking about it before, Tasteless, about pulling those SCVs. SuperNova realized without any fourth base, with Rain taking his fourth, his window of opportunity to win this game was going away. But look at this counter harass.
Yeah, nice harass over there. Now knocking the Terran player onto 2 base. And as you can see here, the natural almost completely dried up at the fourth base rather, for Rain, and now being taken out. He's continuing to push forward over here. But with these Archons and these Zealots and the Nexus Cannon, it might be enough.
Yeah, the Nexus Cannon definitely makes it a little bit harder to attack in. The Zealot's going for that counterattack still, but he's all in. He doesn't care at this point, just pushing forward. There are some Archons here. Can he actually bust through this entire third?
He's not stopping right now. He's melting down these Archons. It is just a Nexus Cannon. Can he make this pendulum now swing in the opposite direction, putting both players on 2 base? It looks like the main command center, by the way, has been picked up and now dropped over here in this location that we have a shot of here now.
I cannot believe that SuperNova actually might pull this off. Rain's army
this game blew up very quickly, and what was a pretty standard PBT is suddenly down to the wire.
Ooh, nice EMP there. Now, the thing is, there's not a lot of energy left in these medevacs, so still this army can be beaten. He does lift off those Vikings to try to take out the Colossi, but there is an Archon on the way.
He's kiting with his ground forces while the Vikings deal with the Colossus.
Oh my God.
Is he going to win this?
Is he actually somehow going to win this?
But now Rain's over here at this base. Nobody has any money.
If SuperNova wins this is like the most, oh my God, GG. The most narrow victory I think I have ever seen.
I actually almost had to ask you who just won that because it ended so fast.
Dude,
what?
That was the most narrow, like, SuperNova had nothing left forever, man.
That game's epicness and closeness, like, went up exponentially as that passed.
The thing is, this is hard to explain because
this is hard to explain.
For Rain, I thought he was going to hold it that third.
I know.
After I saw how well he did in the first battle, which he did end up losing over time, but I'm like, you know what? I think he just goes back to third and holds. And I think he probably thought that too, and I think probably even SuperNova thought that.
Well, it was so many little things there in the end that made the big picture.
Yeah.
And it really something else because there was this point, I thought the third was going to be held. Okay, fourth loss, that's fine because the other guy's on 2 bases, right?
Yeah.
But, you look at that army that just kept pushing the top, and I'm like, well, are these things just not going to die? Actually, do we even know the upgrades? at the end of that? 'Cause
upgrades
I'm
at the
wondering-
end.
I'm wondering if the
SuperNova
upgrades
had
actually
+3 attack, and I
Okay.
believe +2 armor.
Okay.
For Rain, I know he had +3 armor. I don't think he had any side shields, but I could be wrong on that. And
Yeah,
for
we
attack,
didn't
he
check,
had
so-
at least +2, but could have possibly been a
That
little
army
better.
just didn't die.
No, I can't even. That was weird. By the way, he landed his Vikings
Did he use a
versus
lot of
Nexus
snipes?
cannon. Not a ton, but I mean,
I'm
he
just
used,
wondering because
like that was really good work, SuperNova. Oh my God,
way
what a
to
win!
go, man.
It's so funny because I want to be
Two
like,
taste Osa's thumbs up.
yeah, good work,
Or
SuperNova.
4, if you
there
want.
you go. I want to say, like, I want to as a commentator be like, Rain should have actually just warped in at his natural. But the thing is, I don't even think that's true. I'm like, I think Rain thought he was going to win. I thought he was going to win. You thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
SuperNova may or may not have thought that he was going to hold at the third.
I
but
was watching that game and I'm like, well, I mean that army will be stopped eventually, and then we get shot down here.
You know, the Zelts
and there's no a third base. Then we get a shot up here, and the Rain's third base is dying. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, this will eventually end. Anyways, we get a shot down there of SuperNova trying to take this other base, and I see a Zealot attacking him. Like, all right, well, this game's going to end. And then he comes up here, and he's now pushing through the second, and now going to the main.
It's really funny because he was making a Colossus during all that. So, if he had actually warped in the natural, he would have had enough with the Colossus to easily hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not the way it went. And all those Zelts that were attacking SuperNova, if those were with the army, could have probably held as well. Like, there's so many little tiny intricacies. Wow,
That was one of the closest.
What a great
last
SCV pull.
second games we've casted.
What a great SCV pull from SuperNova.
Well, it's funny too because we saw that, and I figured Rain would probably just hold,
No.
or there'd be an
As-
exchange,
Yeah.
and the game would then normalize as Protoss had to use probes to defend, but it was not the case at all.
No, I'm still a little bit in shock. So, next map going to be OGN Anaconda. Rain might be in a little bit of trouble here because it goes this, and then I believe Whirlwind, and then Star Station.
And then Newkirk redevelopment precinct.
And I feel like these next 3 maps could be just a little bit harder for Rain.
I think so.
It's, as far
I
as I'm
got to
concerned,
agree with you, Artie.
Yeah, on the ladder, Whirlwind and Star Station, 2 of the harder maps, I would say, for PvT.
I hate Whirlwind.
Yeah, it's so droppable.
I actually just hate that map.
You know how many you have to have like 5 observers to see drops coming.
Yeah.
But that's something Rain's willing to do.
That's really just a technique of playing the game so you see how you're losing before you actually die. It's just, I'm like, well, there's the drop that'll kill me.
It's coming. My
It's
army's over
coming.
here. I don't think I can make it back.
I thought my stalkers were fast. They were in Wings of Liberty before Medivacs had jetpacks on them.
Truth. All right.
The Medivac is actually a rocket
It is.
that carries units. All right, so our map will be Anaconda. It is loading up.
Isn't that the name of the new ability, Rocket Boosters? Use your Rocket Boosters, Jesus!
Is it Rocket Booster?